The LA Kings have traded Jordan Spence to the Ottawa Senators for a 2025 third round pick and a 2026 sixth round pick. This is a huge trade and a massive blunder on the Kings' behalf, in my opinion. Now, Jordan Spence did request a trade out of the Kings, but he also did so on the back of being benched in this year's playoffs in the Edmonton series, which, by the sounds of it, has a lot of Kings fans up in arms at the moment. And I kind of don't blame them, Jaden, because this is a 24-year-old right-handed defenseman that played 79 games this season, had 4 goals, 24 assists for 28 points, and was a plus 23 in a Kings lineup that was pretty defensively solid. So to go from putting those numbers up to being benched in the playoffs, I can't say I blame him for requesting this trade.
Yeah, look, I've been pretty outspoken on what I think of the LA Kings coaching during the Oilers playoff series. I honestly, the whole entire loss is, in my opinion, based on him and his coaching decisions to sit so much far back
Mhm.
against probably the biggest powerhouse duo in offensive capabilities in McDavid and Draisaitl. I think that's just self-assured destruction, and we saw
Mhm.
that they should have swept him. So they then go ahead, bench a player that, he is young, 24 and whatnot, and they wanted to play the top end guys against, Oilers, but sometimes you need the depth, and ultimately that coaching decisions hurt. They lose a 24-year-old who looks like, decent prospect, is a right D as well, which always is hard to get sometimes. And I say that Ottawa's got plenty of them,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
yeah, I'll just show it right now. Ottawa's just pretty much everyone on that team can play right D. So
Yep.
yeah, look, normally they are dime a dozen, but look, for what Jordan was doing, how he played the season, how he's been developing. Um, Ultimately, a third and a sixth. They do end up trading that third, which was Nashville's, to Carolina. They get a Dallas's third for next year, and um, a fourth round this year, which they then use to uh, draft Jimmy Lombardi with the 125th overall pick, who is a playmaker two-way center, but will he fully crack into the NHL, and if so, when? He's only 6 foot center. He's pretty small, so yeah, that would take some development if he ever came into fruition. And just to note, Canes with that third round pick did draft Kurban Limitov, the Russian. So that's who they ended up using on that pick that the Kings traded away. If you wanted to follow the trade tree to see who really benefited at the end of the day. But all in all, I think it's bad management by the Kings, bad coaching decisions, which led to this, and ultimately, it's like self-assured destruction by the Kings. I'm really sad because I like Kopitar, I like a lot of the players on that team, and they just keep seeming to mismanage them.
Yeah, well, it seems like a big drop on the Kings' behalf here because you got this kid. He's like we said, 24. He's in the last year of a 1.5 million contract. That's pretty reasonable contract, especially for a defenseman that's putting up. I think first real season he put up 24 points. And
Oh, it's
season
just the
just
minutes
gone.
as well, though. Like he's averaging
Oh,
around
but that's what I
15
mean.
minutes.
Like,
15 minutes, like for 1.5 mil, you take that every day.
oh, exactly. And the thing is that he's only really into his second proper season, and he's played what 16, average 16 minutes a night. So this season coming up, he's probably going to up that to potentially 18. But even if he does eat 16 minutes again for 1.5, like that's a fantastic contract. And like what's he going to really expect on his next contract depends on what he does this season. But for the Kings' point of view, like Mike Anderson signed on long term at 4.1, Joel Edmondson 3.85. They don't have any major contracts outside of Drew Doughty, but Drew Doughty's only got the 2 seasons left. And how much has he got left after that? Because he's going to be 37, I think, by the time that contract expires. Like, where's the future for these guys? I know you got Brant Clark coming up and that sort of stuff, but this kid, say kid, but he's 24 years old. He was going to be part of your future, and you've pretty much let your coach just kill his want to be with this franchise, and now it's going to turn into, he's left. Did they get a huge amount for him? Not really. What that looks like down the track, who knows? They might turn one of them into a star,
And
but
and
doesn't
ultimately,
look like
draft
a
picks
great
mean nothing to
return.
the Kings right now. Like they
No,
still got
no.
Kopitar, Doughty, possibly Gavrikov if he resigns, like
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Like they've got an aging team. They're in win now mode,
Yeah,
and they got
so they don't
picks.
need those picks.
they
Yeah,
don't they
like
don't need it. Yeah.
no, exactly. Like they're gonna need to use those picks to turn them into something. Otherwise, they're in trouble. Like Kopitar's last year of his contract this year, um, he's going to be what 38 by the end of it. Who says he's gonna stay on for another year or two after, or even stay with the Kings? Um, I couldn't imagine him anywhere else, but still,
Mm.
yeah, I really feel like they have dropped the ball massively on this. And like you go through some of their players that um played in the playoffs, and you're talking about, having this kid on for 7 minutes in the playoffs. That they played, you know, um, Gavrikov 21 minutes, Edmondson 23 minutes average. They played Drew Doughty and Mikey Anderson for 27 and 25
Yeah,
minutes.
that was the big
Like,
criticism was they were overplaying the top lines on D and forward, and the depth wasn't getting a chance, and that's
exactly, and you've got a kid he's 24 years old. He's got a 23 plus minus in the regular season. He clearly got it done in the regular season. So what was your hesitancy? Like, why at that point, when he's got you to the playoffs, have you decided, nah, don't trust him anymore? We're gonna go to, because I can guarantee you, Drew Doughty, especially at his age, like 27 minutes a night, it's gonna catch up to him.
mm,
He needs someone, and Spence has shown that he can eat minutes. So yeah, look, I don't know. This is an absolute blunder from the Kings, in my opinion.
yeah. I'll just touch
And
on
yeah,
the Ottawa Senators, who obviously get the defenseman, who win the trade. Um, their defense is very stacked now. You're looking through it: Sanderson, Chabot, Spence, etc. It's pretty stacked now. They've got a really decent top four and decent bottom pairing as well. So
and a
defense
goalie,
defense
and a
side they're
goalie.
sorted. Goaltending they're sorted. Um, Whoever they have for backup to be seen if they sign Forsberg and whatnot. And not too much to sign in regards to forwards. Obviously, they don't have much space, only like 9.5 mil to work with. And, they still got to re sign Giroux and, Forsberg and a couple others. So, not much money to work with, but they are set up with a decent team for next year. I feel like this is a really good depth pick for, 1.5 mil. I think he was definitely outperforming that contract.
Mhm.
And he's an RFA next year, not a UFA. So they have that benefit as with him as well.
Yep,
And I'm just hovering over. They expect 4.6 mil in that
yep.
contract based on his stats now. So that's how much he was overperforming.
Which
Um,
it takes over Nick Jensen's contract this year. 4 mil there. You're
mm,
literally just taking his money and giving it to Spence, and then you look at it and you got Sanderson, Bot, Zub, and Spence is probably your top four. Like that's that's an unreal lineup for
yeah,
Ottawa going forward.
yeah. So Ottawa's done good. Back onto the Kings side on losing. They traded the third round they did have, which was a nice high Nashville third. And they traded that away to Carolina, who then used that to draft. And then they get Dallas's third, which will probably be a very late third next year. And they do get an extra fourth from it. So we'll have to see if Jimmy Lombardi was worth, a little bit of that. But by the time he becomes anything, Kings will probably be in rebuild mode by the way the team has been aging. So, and how the contracts are laying out. All in all, just horrible mismanagement, horrible coaching. I personally would have had the coach fired. I wouldn't have fired him in the sense I would have went straight to him and said, "You can't do this again." In regards to his coaching plan of sitting back and then not using the depth when needed. Those are the two things as a GM I would have went, "You can't do this." But look, some of the damage has already been done. The Oilers lost the playoffs to Oilers, who they should have swept, and now they've lost a young prospect. So not much to look bright sides for Kings at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild, isn't it? Like, they were 2-0 up in the series, about to go 3-0 up. They looked absolutely geared for a sweep. And then
He parked the
they
bus.
sit back, they park the bus, and they just let the Oilers do what the Oilers do and just absolutely monster them. And it's just,
It could have worked
it
probably
is horrible.
against
I feel for you,
majority of
Kings. I
teams, but
really do.
yeah,
Like, they've lost 4 years in a row to the Oilers, and that it looked like the year that they were gonna break that, and they were all over them. And just, yeah, that, like you said, poor management, the coach, yeah, if he hadn't had some words, um, yeah, like, it's not good, and I do feel Kings fans
yeah.
over this because, yeah,
And good on Spence. He immediately went, I want to play hockey,
yeah,
and I want
stood
minutes.
up for
And
himself.
so he stood up for himself. He goes to a team that looking in better prospects in regards to playoffs than Kings at the moment, with how that team's shaping out. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're in a
They
very
got a huge
very
future
hard
moving forward.
division. They
Yeah,
they've
but
had Tampa and Florida win back to backs constantly in that division, but he's going to get ice time, and I would say so in the playoffs as well if Ottawa make it this year. All in all, that's my final thoughts. If you got any final thoughts, we'll leave it there.
no, good job, Ottawa. Spence, you'll be playing in the playoffs probably next season, and probably a little bit more than 7 minutes a night. Kings, I feel for your fans.
Mm.
Management, do better.
I feel for Kopitar and Dirty as well. All
Yeah,
right.
you're wasting their last years.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
All right. We'll leave it there. Thanks for chilling out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below on what you think of this trade. Where we got it wrong, where Kings or Ottawa got it wrong, and where they could have gone better. But till next time, we'll catch you guys.
Catch.